Take the lead on this one.
Welcome to WSABE 2014 webinar series hosted by Champion Legal. Today's topic is the financial health of your business. Now, while this doesn't seem to be a category in the WSABE Awards for 2014, we've no doubt that this will be a great benefit to our listeners who all expressed an interest and started registering for the awards. What are the key dates coming up for the awards? Let's have a look at those now. We've got entries are now open and closing on June 26, and of course please make sure that you've got in your diaries the awards night on August 22. We had a sponsors meeting the other day and it sounds like it's going to be a brilliant night, so I look forward to seeing all our listeners there on the night. Today we have our panellists. Welcome Geoff Roberson of Champion Legal.
Thank you, hello.
And Rohan from PwC.
Thanks for having me.
No problem, and I know Andrew's there in the background as well, so welcome Andrew. So, financial health of our business. Why is the financial health of your business important, Rohan?
So the way that I think about it is, obviously there's the day-to-day operations of the business to consider. So it's important for your business to be financially healthy to ensure the day-to-day operations can continue and that the business can continue. One thing that I find though in working with some business owners is they don't necessarily think about the longer term sort of strategic point of view. So it's critical to keep your business financially healthy to think about that longer term play, which sort of feeds into the exit strategy of the business and maximising that value of the business when it does come time to exit.
Yes, I think that's a very good point, Rohan. We see it often with in our estate planning work, a lot of business owners, and we're seeing a lot of baby boomer business owners at the moment who haven't necessarily consulted PwC and got their financial aspects straightened out with that in mind, that they need to exit, they need the money from the sale of the business, and it does make some of the estate planning work fairly awkward.
Mm. Yes. So I mean, a lot of people can tell you, if they've got money in the bank account, how much value that money is generating, and they can tell you if they have money in the share market, how much value that's generating, but they can't necessarily tell you what sort of return that their business is giving them, and they really should consider their business just like any other investment. So it's important to ensure that your business is financially healthy, so you can get the maximum return.
So one aspect of the WSABE questions that we've gone through has been about this measurement and this ongoing thinking about your business on an annual basis or quarterly basis or even a monthly basis. Can you explain to the listeners why that would be such an important aspect to keep their business healthy, Rohan?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with that, and I would say business owners should be addressing this monthly at a minimum and more regularly if possible. Transforming your business and ensuring its long-term financial health is not something that can be done overnight or even on an annual basis. It's something that needs to be done in slow or small gradual steps. And it's one of those things where sort of many small efforts sort of contribute to the outcome that you're after. So just looking at it, once or twice a year doesn't necessarily get you there, but following that on a weekly or a monthly basis allows you to establish some trends. And once you've established those trends, you can go from there to sort of put the processes in place to improve the financial health of the business.
Fantastic. So how do we know if the business is financially healthy, Rohan?
So a lot of business owners will start with the basics, which would be considering the profit and loss statement and balance sheet, and they'd sort of they would make their decision on the financial health of their business purely based on that. We would take a slightly different approach. Whilst it's really important to start with that basic information, we like to look at the financial information a little bit differently. There's certain metrics that we come back to and that we think are really important. So whilst profitability, looking at the P&L, is a great starting point, it's also important to consider in depth the balance sheet. So a balance sheet is really a fantastic indicator of the financial health of a business. The balance sheet essentially represents the machine that is going to go on and create profit for the owner. So metrics, profit metrics like gross margin are important, but also things like free cash flow, working capital percentages and return on capital are really important to consider as well. And back to my point before, these are things that should be considered on a monthly or a regular basis so that you can capture those trends over a period of time.
That's great. So one of the things that we see a lot of being lawyers, Geoff, is the whole debtor cycle. So how can we use some of the insight that we've learned in our business to help other businesses out there listening about their financial health in regards to, say, debt?
Yes, we often are asked to help in recovering debt, and it's often the case that companies or businesses have left it a bit late. They've extended credit for far too long. So picking up Rohan's point there about keeping an eye on the cash flow, obviously it's critical in running any business. You've got to monitor your cash flow, not allow debtors to grow, not allow, in our case, we have work in progress where we may not invoice in a timely fashion. A lot of businesses need to keep on top of that and make sure that the cash flow continues, because if they end up trying to sell their business and there's a lot of money owing, any purchaser will say anything over 60 days, write off. It's going to be very difficult to recover it, and certainly in our world, the legal world, it's often very difficult. The legal system does help people recover debt, but it can be an expensive and time-consuming process with no absolute guarantee that you're going to get your money. So it's a matter of keeping tight control, ensuring debts are paid as and when due, and stopping work if you're not paid, and ensuring your cash flow continues properly.
Excellent. So KPIs, margins, debtors, all important things for our listeners to think about in terms of the financial health of their business. So, Rohan, how do we take better steps towards better health for our businesses?
I think the first step is to take stock, if a business owner hasn't already done so, to what we would call exploring a business. So use those metrics, use those sort of performance indicators to get an idea of where is your business at today. So get an understanding of what your average margin is. Get an understanding of what the free cash flow position, working capital position, return on capital is of the business, because only once you've determined where you currently stand can you put processes in place to work towards your goals for the next 6, 12 months, up to 3 years. So it's about taking stock, then considering where you want to be, and that's all about setting strategic and financial goals. And it's that gap between A and B that needs to be filled. And they're those sort of small and gradual processes that need to be taken in order to gradually improve the financial health of the business.
Sounds great. And there's some other aspects, isn't there, Geoff, about that can have a real impact on the financial health of our business. So in taking those steps, as Rohan's indicated, what are some of the other guidelines that you could provide the business owners out there?
Well, we all have, in running a business, you have alliance partners or suppliers or others that you deal with on a regular basis. I think it's a good idea to make sure that you keep in regular touch with those you need to keep your business functioning. We've also found in recent times a lot of small businesses are sole directorships, and that can be a bit of a problem if someone becomes unwell. If they haven't had good advice from their insurance broker or a risk manager, then they haven't got in place good insurance. That's very important, that they ensure the health of their business can continue even if they're out of action for a while. So I think good risk advice is critical. But there's also a lot of small sole directors don't appreciate that you can, in fact, put in place a corporate power of attorney. So if you do have a stroke or unwell for any reason or not able to run the business, that someone can step in and keep the business running. I think a lot of people think that, that they are it, but the business as a company is a separate legal entity. So if they do put in place a corporate power of attorney as a single director, it can ensure that someone can keep things ticking along whilst you're out of action. So insurance and a corporate PLA are just two of the things I think can help maintain the health of business so that you can ultimately realise the appropriate proceeds from sales. You might retire gracefully.
That's great advice. So taking stock, not just of the numbers and the money, but also the other contracts and things like power of attorneys around the numbers, which will, you know, upset the financial health of your business in the event of uncertain times. So, Rohan, what roles can others play in ensuring the health of your business?
Well, the roles of others might change depending on what sort of business that you're looking at. Obviously, an owner-operator is going to have a significant role in driving a business forward and taking active steps to improve its financial health. Often that owner might have a trusted business advisor working beside them to sort of guide them, offer insights, present to them in a different light or through a different lens the financial information of their business. But probably a third set of stakeholders that might often be overlooked would be the employees of a business, depending on its size. So it's really important when taking steps to improve the financial health of your business that you actually give responsibility and authority to your employees where appropriate to take charge for certain processes and to keep them accountable for what they're doing in that sort of larger part of transforming a business.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'd certainly endorse that strongly. I think we often see in small business people don't pay enough, or business owners don't pay enough attention to ensuring key employees are their employment is well documented, that they are recognised as key employees. So getting a business sale ready does involve having good HR records, having your key people either on employment agreements or in some way that they're more likely to stay in the business and keep it prospering, keep it moving forward.
Wonderful. So thinking about not just your advisors, but those key people who are involved in your business on a day-to-day level and giving them responsibility and authority. I like that. So any closing remarks, Rohan, about the financial health of your business?
I would say, as a starting point, do make sure that you put in sort of a regular basis for your checkup. So whether it's monthly might be a good start to get yourself into the habit, and track your business and have a look at the trends that are going on. And don't feel scared to go back in time 12 months and so you've kind of got a bit of a run-up, and have a look at those trends and keep tracking them going forward.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I guess when I get to talk to business owners, for me to get a good handle on the business, I certainly always start with looking at the financial aspects. And a lot of businesses don't keep good financial records, which is critical. I always say to my clients there are four areas for me to get a proper handle on your business, and we start with financial matters. I look at HR, that is your employees, your employment contracts, that sort of thing. I then ask people about their marketing and business plans. Where are you going? How are you going to get there? And again, a lot of small businesses, mums and dads businesses, don't necessarily give much weight to their what is their own intellectual property, but again, it's important. And finally, I look at their infrastructure, their premises, their equipment, and that sort of thing. And again, keeping that equipment or leases, good records of all that sort of thing can be very important, again, in the overall health of a business. So that's what I look at for those four major headings, and then work out from under those. There's lots of sub-areas, but it always gets it started in the right direction.
Wonderful. So this is wrapping up our webinar for today. So thank you, Rohan. Thank you, Geoff, for being a part of our webinar today.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
So in taking stock of what we've learnt today, think about the benefits of entering. If you're spending a bit of time on the financial health of your business, I'm sure dug in deep to find out how you've travelled in the last 12 months or whatever period of time, and use that information to inform the awards. And of course, as Geoff said, one of the key areas of business is marketing, and what a great opportunity to showcase your business to Western Sydney and indeed New South Wales. So make sure you get those entries in before June 26th. Don't forget that every Wednesday from 4 p.m. you can join us here at Champion Legal, where we'll broadcast one of the topics that's relevant to the WSABE Awards, whether that be financial health of your business today or one of the award entries that we can look at in close detail. And of course, don't forget Facebook, WSABE Support Forum. If you've expressed an interest, then you'll automatically be added to our WSABE Support Forum. But if you're sharing this webinar today, feel free to contact us via Facebook to join the forum and ask your questions. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
There we go, Rowan, all done.